recording. I just noticed I either have to cut that off or blow it. Um, I think it was about 2 o'clock last night. Maybe I saw uh, the live stream of a lady that was narrating the death of her boyfriend with her 4-year-old daughter in the car. I was looking at it, and I remember hearing the policeman sound panicky, you know, like, yeah, and that was scared, like all that other stuff, like, that was scary because, like, he realized he killed this man, and he's like, that's when, like, and then he said something to the fact, I told him not to reach, and the lady was like, well, you asked him for his driver's license and registration, and been pulled over. So they always ask for driver's license and registration. And you know, um, I just if they pull me over or whatever, like, I remember I was in Mississippi once, and they were doing like a DUI, and I had a fifth not open of Heavenly Hill. It just came from the liquor store. And this one black guy lives out there, and the white policeman. There's like two of them. They were actually very nice, and I guess you could tell immediately, because they were saying they were doing DUI, and I guess like immediately when he looked at me, he knew I wasn't drunk, and like I guess the fifth was like between me and the dude, but it was in the bag, never opened, and then it's like I'm not the person that drives and drink. It's like I remember somebody asked me something about like for out of nowhere. I'm not even driving right now. I have a driver's license, but I'm not driving. But he was driving, and he's like, "Let me buy you a beer," and I'm like, "Nah." So finally, he just went and bought a beer, and I hadn't opened it because I like to drink like like where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Even though I'm a passenger, but like unless like but those are thirsty die. But I thought about me getting pulled over, and this guy that I'm referring to, the policeman asked me for a driver's license, and it was a new car, just everything was legit, insurance, or new truck rather, everything was legit. And as we were pulling over, loud enough for the policeman to hear, he goes, "He didn't ask you for your registration." And like me and the policeman, like the policeman looked at me, and like I know I looked over at that nigga and I was giving him the fucking stink eye. Then I looked back at the policeman was giving him the stink eye. He goes like that, and I'm like, "Thank you very much, appreciate," and mosey on, get the fuck out of there. And I even told the person, I'm like, "Why you ask for that shit?" And I noticed that sometimes, you know, it's that we are so programmed, we are so oppressed. I believe Jim Crow was actually a real thing that traumatized the not only the black community, the African American community, but it traumatized the whole. Because you really can't separate the races from being part of the United States. And I guess she said he was Asian and black. I think she was in shock. I think that, like she said, they had talks about how to act, and she was so proper, just a real lady during the situation, and sir, and uh, and and she really, I can tell she was really having a hard time, um, and that's part of the beginning of mourning, is going through shock and denial, and for her to have to go through that grieving state, for her to have to go through that and know that she didn't do anything wrong, she's separated from her child. You really, in the back of your mind, never trust your child out of your sight, especially like she doesn't really know these policemen, even though like you're a policeman. It's not like they properly introduced themselves or you know anything about them. All you know is that you're the person that you love just got killed, and the disrespect. You know, they handcuffed her like you know. But and another thing is in victimizing women, there is such a thing where we get such traumatized by you know uh uh like like in her situation, she's a passenger. They handcuffed her. He had a gun with a license. You know, it's all in a state where you're allowed to it's a right to carry law. This piece of firearm here, but the problem is, police take things like to where it's just sort of like I think they misunderstand when we get disgusted when we try to say it's something and then they want us to patronize them like, oh, you're not all bad. For somebody to take their feelings over, and it's very male-ish thing to be self-centered, to be egotistic, to self-gratification. But we're not having sex here. You're at work. And you have to be able to separate yourself from the propaganda, the sports guy and oh, I gotta, look at X-ray stuff and all this other bullshit, to deal with the reality. And the reality is when you are a policeman and you take an oath to serve and protect the people, even if maybe your training and the people you're around poisons your mind a little bit, you do have to understand that you have certain responsibilities to carrying the gun. There's no glory in killing somebody cold-blooded. There's none. It's just not. There's no glory in this job like that. We know that the war on drugs is out there, and we know that there was the Oliver North trials where they were talking about the CIA bringing in. We can look at Afghanistan and our heroin thing. There, you see the soldiers; they're just surrounded and with their machine guns over the poppy seeds, over the heroin, just like they was down in South America. So this is a capitalist country, and they make money off of prisons. They make money off of jail. And I think that there is what I'm getting to with the police is that there is a training problem. If you want to think that you're trained, like you need to be retrained in some insult or something to litter, I know plenty of people in the medical that have to keep their license up. They have to keep learning. And there's a lot of careers in the finance career. Lawyers have make sure they keep their boards and all this stuff. Teachers and all these. So so if it's a matter of like getting retrained, learning something new, and you think that's an insult or you're pushing back from it, you have to remember that you are citizens too, and the same chaos, the same misunderstanding that you gave to this female's boyfriend, to this man, that hardworking man from what I heard, working in a state job, feeding children, no police record, a broken headlight. And like from all indication, who knows? Maybe this guy's the policeman, who knows, why he thought that what I'm saying. But that is the training. The training maybe is to make him, well, how can that gun shoot 4 times, shoot that fast, boom, 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 boom? How can you not comprehend what your actions are? What I'm saying. This is not a Bugs Bunny movie. It's not like, oh yeah, well, I guess if we can't beat you, you join them. Because what are we going to join? Nobody wants to join a situation that refuses to continue to learn and grow and get stagnated in such a way that they act out by killing people because really basically it's the training. And he does need to go to jail because he made that decision to get that job. he made the decision to do the training that they already gave him in their job. He's a grown man. This was a decision he had made. Nobody forced him to become a policeman. If he wasn't, if it was too hard or too complicated for him, how to figure out, exactly what he needs to do. Sometimes you have to go to your authorities and and just tell them I don't think so and so explained this to me. You know what I'm saying? Because so and so explained to me and I didn't get it. I see other people got explained to. I'm like, can I get a review or something? Because it's also could go either way. If you just oh, I got scared and you shot yourself. Well, what if you in the damn house? The lights go out and one of your kids come with a flashlight in the mirror and you see a reflection. You got scared. So there's training and there's training. There's the matter of using common sense. There's a matter of trying to comprehend and empathize. And I'm sure everybody's been pulled over in a car. So, there's a lack of imagination, there's a lack of creativity on the part of comprehending that their actions have certain results, irreversible results, that cause undue trauma, and it's a tragedy. And, the Republicans and the NRA, and all these other people, they want to keep these Second Amendments, but they forget about a Third or Fourth Amendment. Should we jeopardize our other constitutional rights? And in the midst of that, we have to be targeted, profiled. Well, who are you trying to say is the enemy? Double-minded hypocrites, if you ask me, because you're saying they're to serve and protect, but what you're doing is tearing up and murdering. And you're not being responsible for your actions, so you're not acting like a grown person. Nobody can respect that. Nobody can respect a man that can't take responsibility for his actions. You're going to put it on that lady handcuffed her? She didn't have a gun. That's disrespectful to the citizens of the United States of America. And it shows that he was brought up wrong. He does need to be put in jail, because if that bitch, it can be, really, we see it time and time again. Memphis, we got 114 already killed. So we do have a problem, but there's no excuse. Ignorance is no excuse. When you have choices, God gave you free will. You have choices. You made decisions. That policeman made the decision to get up that morning. He made the decision to stop that man, and he made the decision to fire. And maybe they need to practice on comprehending. I know Memphis has I read somewhere where they have the lowest in the high school graduates comprehending. And, I remember going, why am I reading this long ass article? It's like one of those articles as long as oh my God, it was just so long and dry, not really boring, a little interesting, but dry. And I see now with the actions of the police time and time and time again that we do need to fix the way our policies, the way our justice system, the way our Congress. Look at our ineffective Congress. There's no wonder why we have policemen that are just irresponsible and really on the verge of just doing a treason act. If you're that fucking scared of American citizens, you're gonna go around and shoot. Why don't you take your fucking ass over to Afghanistan? You could shoot all the motherfuckers you want. The United States government, just like the police department, will give you that weapon. Bitch can be spooked all day. Anyway, I'm very upset.